Wait, hold on. Is this another bullet journaling video with Hop? That's right. Suck it 2-month track record. Yes, I'm back with another bullet journaling video and 2 weeks in a row. I did mention in my previous video where I had my monthly review of July, migrating things into August, that I wanted to focus in on giving some more energy to YouTube, and here I am. Here's your energy. I hope it's tasty. So this is a custom spread that I got inspiration from some of the YouTubers that I've been watching that helped me kind of understand the algorithm that is in YouTube. I'll be mentioning them throughout the video and giving them credit in the description below. If you have other YouTubers to suggest that you think are awesome, give great tips, please let me know. I appreciate it. I'm trying to absorb as much knowledge as possible. I hope you enjoy. More energy for me starts out with consuming a lot more content. For me to be able to kind of learn and grow, I kind of just need to be on the platform, watch more things, and kind of educate myself on more stuff. So what really inspired me to create what I decided to title this spread was my YouTube recipe book. It was from watching a YouTube video by Catherine Perry. I'll be sure to put a link in the description below. Actually, I'll probably have a couple links in the description below because this recipe book, I kind of got ideas from a few YouTubers. I know it's not like the multitude of all the YouTube education that I could gather. But yeah, specifically in Catherine's video, she was kind of speaking about the YouTube algorithm and how it works. The way that she was addressing the topics, she called them out kind of like individual ingredients. And that kind of gave me the idea of calling this a recipe book, where you take different steps and or ingredients, you put them all together, and you've got the recipe for your YouTube videos. Along with her channel, some others that I've specifically taken time to watch are like Annie Dubé and Kelly Stamps. All these women are really great YouTube creators. They give some advice. Kelly Stamps is a little bit more variety, but Annie and Catherine are really focused in on helping others understand how YouTube works. It is a big, scary platform. It scares me. I don't understand it. I feel like I'm only now just understanding certain aspects of all the social media I've been using for years. So here I am, kind of finishing out the header I wanted to give this spread. I tried my best to make it look YouTube themed with the play button and the font, which I have to say, I gotta work on my handwriting and my font writing. But isn't that what we're all here about? Growing and learning and practicing on our skills. I'm not very artistic. The only things that I feel comfortable with drawing really is letter art. And looking back at this, I feel like I could have taken more time to sketch this better. But you know what? It's in pen, it's permanent, I'm not gonna redo it, and overall, I'm pretty happy with it. While working on this spread, I remembered I have other pens. I have so many pens. I don't remember how or when I acquired all these different kinds of pens, but I thought I'd try using some of them, finally. So to keep with the, the red theming, to keep it YouTube themed, I took out this red fine line marker, and I started tracing out kind of the first letter for each of the things. I thought to myself, I had this great idea. Maybe they'll read into some kind of acronym and it'll be something easy to remember, something that just rolls off the tongue and looks great. And instead I got, how could I ever say this? CCTMF. Nothing about that works. It's not great. But, yeah. Since I was smart enough to at least do everything in pencil beforehand, you'd think I would have been smart enough to think far ahead enough to make a cool looking acronym. Here you can see I swapped over to a black fine liner marker for me to actually fill in what goes with the acronym bits. The acronym doesn't make sense, so might as well fill it in with actual content. So the first thing I wanted to make note for myself is to consistently release videos. I just really want to be able to stick to a regular upload schedule that I can manage, because I've heard the tip where some people treat YouTube as their new form of TV, where they like to see something regular. With TV, you had the shows release once a week, and it was something that someone could expect and come back to on a regular basis. My next step of my recipe is to make sure to create clean, eye-catching thumbnails. So I guess this is kind of a step, but the ingredient itself is creating a thumbnail that people will enjoy. The important aspect of the thumbnail is that they're the first impression people get of your video, and maybe even your whole channel if they're not familiar with you at all. Essentially what this is doing is making a good first impression to convince people to click on the video. I've watched a couple different YouTube videos where they go into detail on just kind of the art of making a good thumbnail. The kind of key points that I've personally taken away from it are, if you have your face in your videos, put some kind of emotion in it so people understand right away what they can expect from the emotions of the video. Then putting some kind of text so that people can just glance at it, kind of like the cover of a book. They kind of get the idea of, oh, this video is about this. And they can decide from there whether they click through and continue to watch it. YouTube actually gives you a statistic to find out how good your thumbnails work for your videos. This statistic is called the CTR, or click-through rate, that you can get from your analytics page. I've seen various suggested values, but the one that I seem to see is try to go for at least 5%. This basically translates into 5% of all people that see your thumbnail click the video to actually go on to try and watch it. And one major note that I did here is you want to try and make sure to be consistent in your branding or style of it. This I kind of learned from, making my own graphics and things to use for my Twitch stream. I'd kind of translate those same kind of colors, fonts, and ideas over to the YouTube page so that my brand is just something that people can recognize and see and just go, oh yeah, that looks like stuff that Hop makes, so that I seem consistent and thought out. The next thing I want to make sure to do as I'm creating videos is to make sure I get a solid title and remember to actually use the tags that YouTube gives us. So I've noticed one of my bigger sources of traffic is actually YouTube search. This is something that you can find out if you click on your analytics page and you look at where your traffic is coming from. So to be able to keep this up, I want to make sure my title and tags match up as close as possible to someone's search phrases. This is essentially, search engine optimization, if you understand any of that stuff. I've learned it a little bit in college. I don't remember much of it. I don't use it very often, but hey, there's always time to learn and gain a new skill, right? Essentially with search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, you're trying to get your metadata, or everything related to the video, like words and phrasing, to match what someone's looking up. So I mentioned how thumbnails are basically your first impression. Think of it as you're going to a job interview. You want to dress to impress, or whatever they like to say for buzzwords or things. It's been a long time since I've been in a job interview. After that, you need to make kind of like a second first impression. But I guess since it's after your first impression, it's the second impression. Or maybe this is more of like an icebreaker? Whatever you want to call it. Essentially, the most important time in your video is the first 5 to 10 seconds. Basically, you need to grab someone's attention quickly and hopefully hold their attention to make sure people keep watching it. This is a tip that I got from one of Kelly Stam's videos, where essentially you want to put your best foot forward. You don't want to save your best joke if you're doing funny stuff, or your best content for the end. I had mentioned, with the whole making a strong first impression, you also want to get videos that keep people watching. Since I'm kind of, just now putting my energy into YouTube, it's going to take me a bit to kind of focus in on what people like. But ideally, you want to try and create videos that your audience actually enjoys. So that's something you learn from analytics, statistics, or just general feedback from people directly to you. And essentially what audience retention actually is how long people are watching your video. It comes off as a percentage number where, say, you have a 10-minute video. On average, people watch it up to 5 minutes, so you have 50% retention rate. The higher the number, the better, because that convinces YouTube that people enjoy your content, and then they send it out to everybody else and go, hey guys, check this out. The people that did watch it stuck around, watched it the whole time, and maybe you will too. So from Annie Dubé, there are different percentages that she's researched that she's found come up. For her success, she's found anywhere like higher than, I guess, 35-ish%. So I personally would like to aim for between 35% or 55% retention rate. Looking at the page overall, I thought it looked a bit plain, so I thought I would go in and fill in the beginning letter for the steps. What I thought could have been a cool acronym is instead just a mess of letters, but I thought to make it kind of look cohesive, since the YouTube logo was filled in, I thought filling these in would kind of make the whole page kind of come together. Then after that, I thought, you know what, it might be a good idea to try and highlight some of these YouTube specific terms, these analytics that I wanted to go into. So I brought out some highlighters that I have and what I thought was a good color. Lo and behold, I was bamboozled. What I thought was going to come off as, you know, like a red color, like the outside of the highlighter seems, instead I seem to have gotten an orange color. So I took out the highlighters, looked at them, got angry about them, and thought, you know what, this isn't going to work. Gonna not use the highlighters anymore. What I decided to do was take out my Tombow pen and go, I'll highlight it. I was worried it was going to come off a little dark on the color and be hard to read the word behind it, and I was right. It's really not impossible to read, but it's definitely not got a highlighter look to it. Luckily, I do have the words written over on the other side of the page. You can kind of see where I have the pencil sketches, where I decided, along with this being a general recipe book, I thought it'd be a good idea for me to have a place for me to actually have my analytics for me to reference to see how I feel about my videos and how they're doing and where maybe I can go and improve them for the future. So I found I had kind of a blank space. I didn't have any other tips that I wanted to take note of yet. I figured just, you know, a few steps at a time to work towards, and then we'll add on more complicated things later that I might or may not regret. So I decided maybe I can put something that looks like those motivational quotes that everyone puts in their kitchens, like live, laugh, love, but for YouTube. I don't have any pearls of wisdom that sound great and motivational, so I try to motivate myself. I just wrote, combine all the above things. That's step 1. You know, take a recipe, put it all together, see what happens. Step 2, you know, after you cook something, you have to taste it. You have to sample it, see how it goes. So, in the YouTube case, you gotta pay attention to your analytics. All the important things here are, you know, are you getting better views, better retention, better click-through rate, and how is that translating to your growth on YouTube as a whole? Then, my final step. It's like when you finally master the recipe and you want to bring it over to a friend's house and brag about it. Except I just wrote, figure out YouTube? Yeah, I'm not exactly the most motivational person you may know. Like I mentioned earlier, I have this page set off to the side where I want to start actually recording analytics for myself to get an idea on how taking these steps is actually doing for me creating videos and how I feel like it's doing for me on YouTube. And while I was setting this up, I realized I found my pen graveyard. And I know for my usual journaling, I use this purple Micron pen. And you might be thinking if she's got purple, she's definitely got to have one in the color black, a very basic color. Well, I used that to death. Here I'm trying to like get the focus right so you can see how worn down the nub actually is on the black one. It's just flat. There's no ink coming out of that guy. And if you don't believe me, here's me trying to do the spread. Really, it was me hoping it still worked and I could use the pen again because I was getting hand cramps from the mini boy. But you know what? No such luck. At least I have all these backup pens and markers. Again, I don't know how I attained all of these, but I'm thankful that I have them and I don't have to worry about getting new pens all the time. So here I am, basically, I'm just filling out general information about the video. It's things like the date I put it out, title of the video, the time that I decided to release the video, because I've heard that is also another factor to figure out your audience. If you should release it earlier in the day, later in the day, you want to try and find the time where your audience on YouTube is active. Unfortunately, I don't get those analytics. I don't know if it's my low subscriber count or just my inactivity on YouTube as a whole, but I don't get those numbers to be able to find the sweet spot, so I'm kind of guessing and checking with these videos. Along with that, I thought I would record the YouTube analytics that I mentioned, one being the CTR or click-through rate, the other being retention rate. And I thought it might be interesting to see how it does over time. I don't know if these values change very much or waver very much, but I thought I would do 1 day for a video, 1 week for a video, and then 1 month. If you'd like to see an update on how these videos are doing, the numbers, see if my YouTube recipe book is working for me, or if I end up having to change it as I learn and try new things, please leave a comment below, let me know. I'll gladly, pay attention to you guys and make sure to create an update video. Oh, and I know I did complain about my pen graveyard, but I found this gem. I actually had a Micron pen in red that I don't remember ever using. I think it's because of that whole childhood thing where if you write in red, you think you're losing points on an assignment. Or maybe I'm overthinking things. But I thought to help the right side stand out, I'll just put the actual analytics, the things that I want to pop off the page in this red color. I hope you enjoyed this custom spread that I made for myself to kind of keep track of all the YouTube knowledge I've been absorbing. If you enjoy this type of content, please leave a comment, a like, or subscribe for more bullet journaling content. I'll try doing these every Monday for you guys. If you have any specific topics you think would be great to cover, let me know as well. Thanks, and have a good day.